All right, welcome everyone to our Wednesday mastermind session. We do this every single Wednesday. It's called Attraction in Action. My intention is simply to add value. That's it. Just get you into action around attraction because I believe each and every one of you, just like Ricky Carruth, just like Brent Gove and Gene Frederick and Rob Flick and myself. I mean, getting that residual, that passive income showing up into your account every single month, guys, it makes a lot of things easier and many things absolutely unnecessary. Revenue share is the only thing that I found that has increased my freedom and my income at exactly the same time. And so today we're going to talk about how do you attract agents? So we're going to talk about recruiting. We'll talk about retention, talk about building their revenue and getting them into production or reproduction. So we've got a very special guest today, and I've been looking forward to this seriously since Ricky said yes. I've just been chomping at the bit here because Ricky is a rock star in our industry. I mean, Ricky, how many FLQAs do you have, frontline qualifying agents?
Let's see. I'm at 73, 74.
You know what? That doesn't suck, my friend. That's pretty dang awesome.
Let's see.
Congratulations, Ricky, on all of your success. Yet before we get into that, I wanted you to kind of give us the story, give us the background. How'd you get into real estate? You know, what's your current production level with your real estate team, and what are you focused on right now?
Yeah, no, it's good to be here, guys. Good to see everybody. Let's see. Got 100 on the Zoom. That's nice. A lot of you guys probably know my story. I got in real estate in 2002. I failed a history class at Alabama, and I was roofing houses with my dad and decided to give real estate a try, and it worked out. It was a really roller coaster of a career, honestly, through the 2008, losing everything. So I made like a couple million before everything crashed. It was just on paper, basically. And then I lost all that in a snap of a finger, went back to roofing, sleeping in my car, all that good stuff, fun stuff. Worked on an oil rig for a while, but I came back and got back in the business in 2008. And it was just sky's the limit from there, because I took everything I learned from that moment. I think we all have to kind of go through those moments. I know right now there's a lot of agents that got in during COVID, and now they're having to take a step back and get a job to pay their bills and everything. And I'm trying to encourage the industry overall to encourage these agents to not give up on real estate. We all go through that moment where the market shifts and our business changes, and we don't have enough experience to know how to handle those changes. But I want to kind of encourage, if you guys know agents, to pick them up and encourage them to stay in the business, even if they're only working an hour or two a week. You know, I did that for years when I was out of the business. I continued to try to build the business, even though I was roofing houses and serving tables and working on an oil rig. I never gave up on the business, and I'm glad I didn't, because when I came back, you know, as you guys know, I eventually became the #1 Remax agent in Alabama for many years, and was the top agent in my MLS for 8 years in a row. It was just a single agent outselling teams. And if I would have gave up during that time, then I never would have achieved any of this. I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't have done all the things that I'm done and are doing. So um, encourage I think agents right now, especially agents 1-2 years in the business, need a lot of encouragement right now. So it's okay to go back and get a job. That's not something that to be embarrassed about. You're going to pay your bills and take care of your family. I think where you should maybe be embarrassed is if you have entered into real estate and then you quit for really no reason, right? So that's my big message right now, is to try to encourage the agents that are thinking about quitting to stay in the business, even if it takes you a couple of years to get going where you can go full time again. That's okay, right? So, and as far as what I'm focused on right now, I did take a step out of production. My dad handles the day to day, as Sean knows, and he's handling the day to day listings and sales. I'm still doing marketing, and we still talk every day, consult about the deals, and think about everything. I was at the office all day this morning doing the weekly email and looking through all of our pendings and listings and strategizing and everything else. But I'm not focused on that. I'm watching that, but I'm not focused on it. My main focus is social media, honestly, is kind of the main focus, you know, because everything spawns out of that, guys. Everything in your business spawns out of your influence, whether it be you've cold called 50,000 people in your market and built a database of 3,000 who love you, that you're following there, that you need to take care of, whether you've built a YouTube subscriber base of 5,000 and you get, you know, 500 views per video, that's your that's your people, that's your audience. So building that social influence really puts you into a really good position to have a lot of different options. The reason why I stayed single agent for so long is because unlike Sean, I just couldn't do the CEO position. I'm more of and I've kind of accepted the fact that I am a grinder. I kind of like being the visionary that works hard. Let's just say, I think I'm a mix between visionary and someone who works hard, but I don't want anything to do with the day-to-day operations, right? I want to look big picture, and all my actions are focused on how is this benefiting my 2028 business. It's like every video I do, like let's just take YouTube, for example. A lot of those videos don't take off for like 6 months to a year down the road. It's such a long play with this stuff. And so I'm trying to put out around 15 videos a week on YouTube right now. I'm doing 4 to 6 posts a day on Instagram. And Instagram is a long and short-term play because I'm picking up 200 followers a day organically on Instagram. But YouTube is a lot longer play. There's short-term benefits, but I'm really looking at, man, how big my brand could be in 2030 if I'm pumping out 15 videos a week right now. So I'm more of a long-term visionary, but yet really nose to the grindstone on the day-to-day of how it could be more efficient. Efficiency, I think, is the name of the game.
Right.
I don't even know
Well,
what the
bottom line
question
is,
was at this point, Sean.
say it again.
I have no idea what you asked me.
It's all good because there's a couple of things I want to underline, a few questions that I have to follow up with what you just said. See, it's been said that instant gratification is just not fast enough these days. I don't know about you guys. I sit in front of the microwave saying, come on, damn it. I don't have all minute, right? Come on.
Yeah,
I want it yesterday. So,
right.
content is always king, in my opinion, right? In fact, one of my coaches, Grant Wise, who I've had on many of these calls in the past, he owns Whitley.net, by the way, which is marketing automation software. I hired him as our IMO, interim marketing officer, right? And he came in and helped him and I just kind of change our strategy, our approach. And he said this to me last month. He said, Sean, the only thing missing from your community is you, meaning you've got to pump out more content. So let's talk a little bit about that, Ricky, because
Yeah.
I'll do a YouTube video. I'll check it in 48 hours. I've got 100 views. And I'm like, well, that sucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that anymore, right? But it's a long-term play. So let's talk about content creation a little bit. And by the way, how I view content, you guys, is kind of like, tobacco, alcohol, opioids, drugs, whatever. The more somebody ingests that, the more addicted they become to it. And your marketing, your content is no different. The more they're ingesting that, the more addicted they become to you and your methodology and your way of thinking. You elevate yourself in the process to become a thought leader within the real estate community. Now, this is not just a local community, this is a global community, undoubtedly. So, Ricky, how are you coming up with content and how do you motivate yourself to actually shoot all these videos? I mean, seriously, talk to me.
Yeah. So just to give a little backdrop to it, I got above 200,000 followers on Instagram within like 4 or 5 years, but then it just kind of flatlined. I was at like 2.25 for like a year. And I wasn't growing. I was losing as many followers as I was gaining basically every day. I was actually going down. And through that whole process, I was literally posting whatever, whenever. I wasn't really intentional about creating content. I was just documenting, podcast clips and speeches and whatever. There was no real system or schedule on the back end. I was just kind of let's just create this and throw it out there. But I got tired of the flat line. Okay. So what I did was I quit posting on Instagram for like 2 weeks, and I wanted to study the Instagram algorithm. And I'd had 2 conversations, very long conversations with Meta about it. And then I read tons of articles and just all kinds of research and talked to other influencers and everything. And what I realized was that, number one, I'm not posting enough, right, at all. And I can talk about that. And then also just the pure quality of the content wasn't enough either. So I had to step both of those games up. I had to post more, and this is just Instagram I'm talking. I had to post more and I had to post better. And so in order for me to post more and higher quality content, I had to literally treat this like a job. Whereas before it wasn't like a job. It was, again, whatever, whenever, and just documenting. Whereas now I literally have time blocked. You know how I used to time block, prospecting calls. Now I have time blocks where I'm brainstorming ideas and shooting and filming, 10 to 15, 1 to 2 minute videos in one shot. Um, and so now, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed, and then I'll talk about how I come up with the content. You got to have a little bit of diversity in your content, honestly. We can talk about that as far as real estate goes, but for my business, which is real estate coaching, I've got the videos that you guys see with the green screen behind, nicely edited, where I'm looking directly at you, screaming, screaming at you. I've got those. I've got my speech clips. I've got my podcast clips. And then I have the article in the background. You guys have seen those where people are giving their commentary against a breaking news article that's in the background. Then I've got Twitter quote posts, which is an image. And those Twitter quote post images really get the most engagement. And Instagram actually admitted that they went too far of giving video engagement. And they brought it back. This was like in the last 30 days to be more balanced between images and videos. With Reels, Reels is where you go out and you can really grab a lot of new clients. You can get a lot of exposure to new audiences because it's hitting that, whatever they call that page where the Reels are. On TikTok, it's called For You page, but that's where I pick up basically just about all my new followers every day, 200 followers a day for months and months now, ever since I started doing this. So in September, I started posting 4 to 6 times a day. Now, why is that so important? Well, it's because the algorithm works in a way that if you post at 8 o'clock and that's it for the day, you're getting the people that woke up and looked at Instagram around 8, but you're missing everybody that slept until 10, that doesn't look up their phone till 12, that, maybe they saw you at 8, but then they don't see you for the rest of the day. But if you're posting 4 to 6 times, you're catching people that are looking at their phones at 8, at 10, at 12, at 2, at 5, at 8. And it's like every time somebody opens up their phone, there you are. And that's what you want. And the only way to do that is to post that many times throughout the day. And so I have a schedule every day, and it's different every day as far as what hour I post. It's really good to post at the top of the hour, like 6 o'clock instead of 6:32, or 9 o'clock instead of 8:47. It's good to post right at the top of the hour. It seems that's when people are looking at their phones the most for whatever reason. If you only post 3 times a day, try to hit it like 8, 12, and 6 or something. If you're only posting 3 times a day, if you're only posting once, I guess, which is really what I say to do for real estate agents is, because I mean, you're not a full-time content creator like I am. You could post once or twice a day. Just kind of be thoughtful about that. You can look at your Instagram analytics in your account. You can actually see when Instagram thinks the best time is for you specifically to post. So that's really good to look at. And I analyze that every 30 days, and I may change my schedule up every 30 days just to see, and I'll analyze it again every 30 days. But that's that. Before I go any further into how I actually come up with the content, Cheryl.
Hello. Hey, I have heard that it's good to post multiple times a day. I think Guy Kawasaki even said that, right? But he also said he repeats his posts. So he will post the same thing multiple times at different times a day, because some people, obviously, like you said, will miss it. Is that something you do as well, or do you create new content for every different post?
Yeah, so I don't know if he's saying he posts the same things on the same days, or if he like waits a couple months to post the same stuff. I've never seen somebody post the same exact piece of content multiple times in a day, more than once. So that'd be the first I've ever seen that. I'm not a fan of it at all, because when people look at your feed, then they'll see two of the same posts right there, which kind of looks like a glitch, or kind of looks like it's almost like a typo, right? People think of that like a typo in
Right.
an email, and they think, oh, typo, this guy, you just discredited yourself. That's what
It's
I
crazy.
think.
Yeah.
That's what I would think if I saw two of the identical posts, like right next to each other, posted at different times in the day. Now, that's not to say that I haven't reposted stuff from months ago that you would never find in the feed, because you can't scroll all the way down. I got 5,000 posts, and I post 6 times a day. So to scroll down even a couple weeks ago would be really hard. But if you have a really good piece of content, you can repost that months later or something like that. I don't do it very often, only if I just feel like, let me mix it up a little bit. I like this post I did 4 or 5 months ago, but I don't really do that a whole lot. I like fresh content. And so I do fresh, like, let's just say 99% of the content I post is completely brand new. And then every once in a while, I'll post something from 5 months back or something like that, or a couple months back.
Right on,
Thank you.
Ricky. What percentage of your posts are text-based versus video-based? Or are they all video? Talk to me.
So throughout the day, I'll post mostly video. So they're all video except for maybe one Twitter quote post. And then every once in a while, I'll do like an image, like a real picture that's not like a Twitter quote. But let's just say 90% of it is a reel. It is a short form, vertical formatted piece of video.
All right, well, give us an example real quick. Let's say you're going to do a post right now. Give us a quick example. Maybe it's something you did this morning. Maybe it's something you did yesterday.
Yeah, no, I've got my list right here. So the way that I do my brainstorming, so what I'll do is I'll sit down for a good 30 minutes or more. And so I have a couple of different ways that I do this. The first way is that I'll shoot 10 to 15 twice a week. So I'll actually create 30 a week. And then I've got those plus the podcast, plus the speeches, plus the article things. But as far as the green screens that I'm actually brainstorming ideas, looking at the camera and filming those, I'll take 30 minutes or more to sit down and come up with those 10 to 15 great ideas. And a good thing, well, here's a trick for you guys on this. As as an agent, you're probably going to batch film once a week, I would imagine, right? And maybe do like 10. That, like, if you guys could do 10 a week, that would be amazing. If you're posting one reel a day, 7 days a week, that would just be so huge for your business, for your organizational growth, because other agents are seeing you active on social, but also your real estate business, right? So, and you can time block. So I always say, make your calls in the morning, 9 to 12, and do your social media and stuff in the afternoon. So if you could just time block one afternoon, block the whole thing out to film 10 reels, you can do that. And then, take 30 minutes or so to come up with the 10 great ideas. And then it would probably take another hour or two to set up and film the 10 ideas. But then you've got 10 reels there every week for you to kind of post throughout the week. You could even double up on some days. Or sometimes when you make reels, you don't post all of them because you didn't like how they turned out. So with 10 of them, you may have 3 you didn't really like, so you don't post them, whatever. But here's a trick of it. If you're going to time block that one afternoon every week, then you've got your whole week that you're going through, and you're showing property, you're making calls, you're going to listing appointments, you're going to closings, you're doing all your stuff. As you go through the week, you really need to pay attention to what's happening at the listing appointments, objections that you got, listings that you have, what's happening in the market, articles you see. And what you need to do is email yourself. When you think of an idea, email yourself right then, and just name the subject, just put reels, and then just have a screenshot of the idea, or just type the idea. Maybe you just typed like, let's see, like the first one I did yesterday it was about, that most agents don't use social media the right way. They use it. They're not using social media to be social, let's say. You know, they're just using it to just post, but they're not really engaging with people. They're not reaching out to people. They're not trying to build relationships or communicate with people. They're just posting and that's it. And so the first reel I did yesterday was that I filmed was about that. And in the email, it just said use social media to be social. I didn't like script out the whole thing in the email. I just wanted to give myself a little hint of what that video was going to be about. And so what I'll do when I sit down for my batch to film my batch, the first thing I'll do is I'll search my email for the reels, and I'll have like 10 to 15 right there. And I kind of go through them and kind of handpick, okay, which ones are the great ideas? And I put those on paper or on the list that I'm fixing to film. Right. And then I start searching outside of that. You know, I might Google some things and I might look at my MLS for stats. I mean, one of the reels I did lately was about how condo prices actually went up month over month from November to December. Right. That was a stat I found in my MLS as I was kind of creating and analyzing my own data through my MLS. Like you can go in your MLS and come up with your own data points that you can speak on. Right. And that's really powerful when it's actually a data point that you actually researched and came up with because you're curious about the market, because you are a professional agent and you want to be on top of the market trends. So there's three parts to a video. Okay. There's the hook. And here's the problem is most agents videos, when you scroll, the very first thing you hear is, hey, it's Ricky Carruth over here at EXP Realty. We're over here at wherever, and people are already moving to the next video because you've got literally a couple of, all they have to do is this to go to the next video if they're not interested. And if you don't capture them right then in that split moment, if you don't have something that really hooks them in, then you're dead. So you've got to have that hook. It's got to be something powerful, something like, are you looking to buy a house right now? You know, that could be a great hook. You know, are you thinking about selling in Ventura? You know, something that really immediately hooks them in where they're like, oh crap, I'm thinking about selling. I need to watch the rest. You know, here's what you need to know right this second. You know, or the market has changed in just the last few days. Here's what you need to know. Like you've got to have something that really gets them, you know, invested in your video, right? Then you're going to bring the value. Right? What is that piece of information that they need to know about that's groundbreaking, that's breaking news? Okay. Then we're going to end with a call to action. Now, sometimes you can switch the call to action and the value. Sometimes you can hook them, right? Hey, if you're thinking about buying right this second, you need to watch this video. I'm Ricky Carruth. I'm at the EXP Realty. I'd be glad to help you through this process, but here's what we're seeing in the blah, blah. So you could put the call to action. You could mix it up where some of the call to actions are in the middle, then you end with the value. You know, there's a couple of different ways you can do it, but the hook is non-negotiable. If you don't have the hook, nobody's going to watch your video. So you guys have to get really good at creating hooks for your videos. And the only way to create great hooks for your videos is to actually treat this like a job where it's not like you're just sitting down, oh, I'll just squeeze in making a couple videos. No, you need to block out entire half days to sit down and take an hour to really brainstorm and think about great ideas and then execute on those ideas. And I'll just end with this as far as that subject. Your first batch is going to be horrible. But guess what? Your second batch is going to be a little better. Your third batch is going to be a little better. Your fourth batch is going to be a little better than that. And you'll just continue to get better. Don't go back and look at my first videos. Don't go back and look at my first videos. You'll be like, who the heck is that?
Well, here's the quote. Every master was once a disaster. So anytime you do something new, unique, special, different, you're going to be terrible at it. That's okay. Every master was once a disaster. So does it make sense? And there's a question that came in to have two Instagram accounts, one for real estate sales, one for agent attraction. Talk to me about that.
I don't think so. I think one is plenty. I think you're creating content for clients, and I think you can do it all in one. You know, I only have one. I didn't build my business on social media, my real estate business. I built it on the phone and emails and postcards. So I'm not in this new world where I'm faced with that specific challenge. I don't know how I would handle that. you can really do it either way, but I don't think I would want to mix that, separate that. I think I would want to have that because agents are like, if you're creating great content for buyers and sellers, guess what? Agents are going to follow you. And so now you get agents following you, but then you have this other account that you're actually trying to help agents with. It's just confusing, guys. I would keep it all one account. This is my advice. You don't have to take it, of course. Everybody has to make their own decisions. This is what I think. I would keep one account and just take it to the moon. I would put all my energy into that account, and I would have reels about the market, helping buyers and sellers. I would also have reels about agents and helping them succeed. I don't think that I think your real estate clients are going to appreciate both. And I think the agents are going to appreciate both. I don't think you have to separate that.
Very good. Very good. So a couple other questions that came into you. Mix both agent attraction and buyer and seller content on your YouTube.
I've never done buyer seller content on YouTube. It's all been real estate coaching content. I think on YouTube, you would need to separate it because it's just two different channels with two different genres. It's different than an Instagram account that's like your personal brand. That's a little different. I think that, and it's not hard. Like, okay, with YouTube, you don't have DMs to keep up with. You don't have you have comments, but there's so little back end servicing for YouTube, right? You can, if you have two channels, you just log into another channel and post the video. It's not like there's more work. If you have two Instagrams, that's double the work. You have to check the DMs. You have to answer all the comments. That's double the work, but YouTube, it's not really double the work. So I think on YouTube, I would keep it separate where you have your, luxury lifestyle or your, wherever you are, for your, to try to grab that SEO of search engine towards your area. And then have a channel geared towards helping agents. I think I would separate it on YouTube.
Right. So Ricky, undoubtedly you've reached the pinnacle of content creation. You're a thought leader in the industry. What would you say to somebody who's maybe not that thought leader in their local market area or nationally or globally? Obviously, nobody picked you up and put you at the top of the mountain, right? There's a process to everything, and we all start at the base of the mountain. So what are some of the steps that you took to elevate yourself to become that thought leader? Talk to me.
Well, being in the game, I was never on a team. And I was a student of my market. So it's funny because in 2008, when the stock market crashed, I didn't know anything about it. Like until I started investing in stocks in 2016-ish. That's when I started studying the stock market. Okay, what is this stock market thing? How can I make money here? I want to invest. I have money to invest. That's when I realized, there was this massive stock market crash in 2008. That's a testament to how focused I was on one thing, helping people in my market buy and sell real estate. Nothing else was even on my radar. I was one of the first people on MySpace back in 2003 or so. Or 2 or 3, I can't remember when that was. And Facebook took it out immediately, right? And it was basically gone overnight. And that experience of me getting on MySpace and then it disappearing overnight kind of made me jaded towards social media. I was like, oh, well, here's Facebook. It's going to go away too. Next, the next big thing that comes is going to take Facebook out and then blah, blah, blah. So I just literally blocked it out. I was like, okay, that's nothing. Big mistake, number one. But number two, I didn't use social media whatsoever to build my real estate sales business. Even up to 2017, I was selling 100 properties. I was making $1 million a year, 18, 19, 20, never used it at all. And that again is a testament to how blinded I was and how focused I was on one thing, right? Becoming a master of my market, right? Because I didn't know what interest rates were. Like I could name a lot of things that I was completely oblivious to, not because I'm not a smart guy that, wants to know things, it was because I was so focused on one thing, and that was being a master of my market, giving my customers the best service, selling more properties than anyone because I made the most friends in the market. That was all I was focused on. And I think to become now progress to where now I do pay attention. Now I'm on social. Now I do pay attention to the stock market every day. Now I do pay attention to interest rates every day. Now I do know all the national trends and different markets and what's happening with prices and inventory and all this stuff. But I've progressed into that as I conquered this mountain over here. And I think the problem is that you guys are getting a little too scattered. You're not focused on that one thing and mastering it before you try to take on another mountain. I think that's how I've, progressed to the top of each mountain, is because once I start at the bottom of a mountain, I'm only focused on that mountain until I reach the top. And then I turn around and say, okay, where's the bottom of the next big mountain I can climb that's even bigger than the one I'm on? Okay, here's the bottom. Now I'm just focused on this till I get to the top, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. But at least now I know that's one of my curses. So I try to be a little bit more broad and try to keep my eyes more open for different opportunities and things going on. But I think there within lies the answer to your question, Sean, is that you guys got to be super focused, super hyper local focused on your markets. You should be watching the hot sheet every single day, looking at new listings, closings, pendings, expireds, withdrawals, canceleds. Every day you should be like on top of that information, and let it be fresh on your mind every single day. I mean, that's just so key. And what it does is after a couple of weeks of that, you literally become an expert, a local expert in your market. Even if you're brand new, you said, I'm talking to the agents that don't have all these years of experience and don't know all this stuff and, haven't reached the top of the mountain with all these knowledge and everything. You could literally, within a matter of weeks, become one of the sharpest, most one of the biggest experts in the market on your market simply by following the hot sheet in your MLS every day. So I don't know. I could ramble on about all kinds of things, but did I lose you guys? Am I here?
No, we're good. Sean has started screen sharing now. Let me see. You know what? I think we lost Sean.
We lost him.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions? Let's do some Q&A.
No, Ricky, that's awesome. That is awesome that you're so. Let me jump in here for a sec. And I want to recommend that everybody visit Icon Coaching and visit our social stuff also. Ricky, let's drop your website. What's your website where they can get your Instagram social media? Let me find that real quick.
Yeah, Instagram, or it's just Ricky Carruth on Instagram.
Okay.
Good place to keep up there. Go to the link in my bio. I've got all my stuff there.
So for
60-day
us,
challenge.
I'm working on YouTube right now for our stuff. There we go. Ricky Carruth. Look at that. 234K followers.
Way to go, Ricky. That's fantastic. Sorry, I got booted off just real quick. I was going to share the universal model of change, yet I'm running out of time. One of the things I'd encourage each and every one of you to do before we get to the Q&A, I want you to go to iconcoaching.com. I want you to schedule a free one-on-one coaching session. Seriously. Paul Hellum, you with us today? Where are you at, Paul?
Paul may not be here.
I'm here, Sean.
Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
Paul's my right-hand man here at Icon Coaching, guys. He's a consultant with Icon. He's going to walk you through a free coaching session. He's going to help you identify and solve at least one major problem that you have in your current strategy. Seriously, he's going to share strategies and tactics with you that you can implement and deploy today, right now, to bridge any gaps that you discover during this free coaching session. So, Paul, what are they going to gain beyond that? Talk to me.
Well, they're going to gain clarity on the steps they need to take and to be more consistent with. At the end of the day, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of EXP agents about their attraction struggles. And really what it is, folks, is just being consistent with the time and the focus on this area. It is something you have to schedule and plan for. And that's something we could talk about. We're not here to force anyone to a schedule. We're here to talk about it openly to see if there's some direction we can steer you that's going to get you that success that you are looking for. So please, it's a free call.
It's a free call, guys. Just jump in. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And what Paul's going to help you with is strategy. See, in absence of strategy, we fall victim to circumstance. You understand this, right? So jump on a call with Paul. Thank you, Paul. And let's get to our questions. We got Barbara over here.
Yeah, well, Sean, actually, if I could jump in real quick, and again, I just want to push people towards Paul. If you guys listen to the Michael Krein description yesterday, the market is changing. It's not going to be universal. It's not all the same across the entire country, but there are various markets that are going to be down more than others. Schedule a call with Paul and he can answer your questions. He can give you pointers and guidance without getting you into a program. He can also get you into a program. I mean, Sean went through the 2008 market crash, and all of this stuff is built into the Accelerated Breakthrough Program. And if you're looking to attract agents also, that is a great way to offset this market downturn.
No doubt, Tim. All right, Barbara, over to you.
I just want to recap, make sure I understand. Rick, you do about 30 posts a week, and you said 80% are reels, not stories and not actual posts, right?
Let me see how many posts I do.
Because I'm going to get started and I want to just do what's the most effective, right? So if
so I do
reels
30
are
on the low end. So
Mhm.
I really do about 40 out actually.
Okay.
Ricky, can I jump in real quick and ask about hashtags?
Hashtags are super important. Super important. They help people find you, honestly.
Hashtag Brian Pitts.
What's that?
You're not muted. Oops, sorry.
Oh,
yeah. So hashtags are really important, guys. And if you have a smaller account, I can kind of afford to put basically the same hashtags on each post. It doesn't really hurt me too much. But on smaller accounts, you want to kind of mix them up a little bit. Maybe have 3 or 4 different batches of maybe like 5 hashtags, like 3 different, groups of, 3 different hashtags of 5 apiece, and maybe kind of spread those out with your posts instead of doing the same ones every time. That's not the greatest idea. But they are really important to answer your question.
Right on, you guys. Any other questions for Ricky?
Hey, good morning, Rick. It's Hector Aguilar from Los Angeles. Thanks for sharing. And what we do, we seem to be pulled in so many directions, right? Right now, we're all focused on, we're talking about social media, but the truth is that we need to focus on production and agent attraction, right? A lot of times, we feel like so many things are pulling out our strings in terms of either running a team or trying to be productive, trying to get more listings, all those good things. And how do you prioritize, and what do you use to prioritize your day? I know you're no longer in production itself, but help us understand, what do you do to stay organized and to kind of check all those items off a list on a daily basis?
What I've been doing lately, because towards the end of the year last year, I went all in with content, and I was spending basically all my time creating content, doing coaching calls and stuff. But now I've kind of got that where I want it to be. So now I focus on Mondays as more organizational growth. I've got a director of growth for my organization, and I have the generals, of course. And so I work with them basically on Mondays, right, for organizational growth and strategy. And that's when I do my follow-ups for agents I'm working on and stuff of that nature. Tuesday, I'm working on content. So like Monday's my organizational growth day. Tuesday is my content day where I'll brainstorm and film all day. And then Wednesday is sales, real estate sales. That's when I go to the office and do the weekly email, check on all our listings and sales, see if I need to follow up with anyone. I'm also getting into buying commercial multifamily. So again, Wednesday is the day where I do that as well. Follow up with those deals and the team on all that stuff. Then Thursday and Friday is kind of like whatever projects I'm working on, So I mean, I have calls like this periodically through the week. Now I'm doing, you guys will think this is funny. I'm doing 2 to 4, like hour and a half long lives on YouTube, 2 to 4 times a week now. So those are kind of, period, spread out through the week as well. But that's how I do it, right? I'll take one day where I'm like, let me focus on this one aspect of my business. Okay. Tuesday, let me focus on this one aspect of my business. Okay. Wednesday, let me focus on this one aspect of my business. That's what I've been doing lately that seems to be working for now. But guys, this is always a moving target. I mean, my schedule changes monthly for what I'm focused on, what I'm doing day to day, and everything else. And you've got to be flexible with that. Let's just put it like this. If you're focused on purely building your real estate business, okay, let's just talk about that for a second. You should be making calls. And I'm not even necessarily talking about cold calls. Somebody in your business has to be talking to a property owner if anything's going to happen, whether it's you or if you have an ISA or a VA or an assistant. Somebody's got to be talking to somebody somewhere, or nothing's going to happen. So if that's you, if you're single, if you're solo, or if you don't have an ISA, that's you. You got to be talking to somebody, whether it's Facebook leads, cold calling, open house, follow. I don't care what it is. You got to be talking to somebody. And so from 9 to 12 every day needs to be on the phone, following up with online leads, whatever your thing is. I don't care what it is. And then in the afternoon is our marketing time, our social media, our weekly emails, our SEO, our blogs, our handwritten letters, our postcards, our setting up open houses, or whatever our marketing is that we're focused on is going to be done in the afternoon. It's really that simple. Calls in the morning, marketing in the afternoon. That's one business that we're building. Now, if you want to add in recruiting, okay, take a day a week where that call session is focused on recruiting, and that marketing in the afternoon that day is focused on recruiting. Take one day a week where you have the same schedule, you're just focusing the same activities on a different business, right? So you could take, Tuesday could be your day, or Wednesday, where from 9 to 12, instead of calling property owners, you're calling agents. And then from 1 to 5 in the afternoon, you're making videos, not for property owners, but for agents, to help agents become attracted to you and find you on social and whatever marketing you're doing on that end, So you could literally keep the same schedule every day, calls, marketing, just switch up 1 or 2 days towards recruiting. And then of course you've got your listing appointments, your showings, and all that stuff that kind of get spread out periodically through the week. Same way that my schedule has periodic Zoom calls like this and live sessions. They're like, this is the equivalent for me to going and showing property to you guys, right? I don't know when I'm gonna have to do a Zoom call like this out of the blue throughout my day. It's kind of like showing property. You don't know exactly when your buyers are going to want to see a property on Tuesday. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it. And at 5 o'clock, listen, whatever you got done is all you're going to get done. Be happy with what you got done, and go home and spend some time with the family and enjoy and relax and recoup and recover and get ready to do it again tomorrow. You guys need to be getting into the mindset that you get more done in a day than most people get done all week.
That's exactly right, Ricky. Well, you're an implementer, you're a man of action. There's no doubt about that. And you come from contribution. I mean, Ricky's model is that he gives. I mean, he coaches people free of charge, gives, and as a direct result, he receives, right? It's the law of reciprocity. Way to go, Ricky. I see that Gary's hand is up. Let's make it quick, Gary. We've got basically 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Ricky, for being here, and I do follow your content. So just 2 quick questions. So firstly, I heard you talking about doing YouTube lives. Are you doing that on the fly, or are you formulating a game plan when you do up a live? Do you have guests? How are you
formulating? So what I'm doing with my lives is I'm using that to film my actual YouTube videos. So I'll go live and I'll have 3 segments I want to do during the live. And, I'll come on the live, I'll have an intro, I'll chat it up with the people watching, and then I'll say, hey, we're going to talk about this, this, and this today. And then when I get ready to talk about the first thing, I'll basically take a sip of water, and then I'll turn into YouTube Ricky, where it's like the beginning of the video now, because later on I'm going to cut that segment out and post it as a separate video. And so now I can make 3 YouTube videos where I have a live audience where the energy is going to be different if it's live, number one, but I can also get 3 videos done right there in an hour and a half and bring a lot of live value to the people watching. And then people that don't want to watch an hour and a half live, they'll see a notification of what Gary Keller said, or why houses are underwater $1 billion, or whatever the subject was of one of the segments. I can chop that into a 15-minute or 10-minute video. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing research on articles that I feel like I want to give my commentary on. And then I'm just going live and creating those 3 videos during the live. And then I just chop it up and then post those. I leave the live up as well, but then I post the 3 videos separately.
Brilliant. Love the strategy. Chuck Keller, one of my favorite clients. How are you, bud?
I'm doing well. I know we only got a minute here, so I just wanted to ask something really quick. First of all, Ricky, I think everything's great you do, and of course I follow you, and this is wonderful today. I think the one thing, and maybe you can address this, how the one we know all of this stuff, basically, not necessarily everything you presented, but what is it that gets us to get past the fear of just picking up the phone and start calling? Because the fear, I mean, the pain of, you know, the end of the month with bills seems to be more okay with us than the pain of calling. And how do you approach that with your agents?
Well, if you're running out of money and you got bills due at the end of the month, you need to go get a job. Right? That's the first thing. You got to have your finances in order, because otherwise, if you're under the 8 ball financially, you're not going to be able to communicate properly to your prospects. They're going to hear that desperation on your voice. Your bills need to be taken care of. You don't need to leave your job and have 6 months of reserve and say, oh, I hope I sell something in 6 months, because you just become more and more under the 8 ball as it goes on, and your voice starts getting a little higher pitch every single call you make, and the prospects run the other way, you know, when they hear how nervous you are about your finances that you're not even talking about. So that's the first thing, right? Get your finances in order where you're not worried about your bills. You need to have a job if you're not making enough money in real estate. But secondly, to get over that fear, I mean, you need to think about it like this. If you, where are you at? You're in Los Angeles. Are you scared to make calls, Chuck?
Am I what?
Are you scared to make calls? Are you asking for a friend, or is this you?
I'm asking in general, so I'm kind of.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Chuck. If you were in New York on a train and somebody was across the hall from you, mean mugging you, and you think, man, this person's scary. And then you're on a 3-hour ride to North Carolina, and somewhere an hour and a half in, you drop something, you get into a conversation, and you end up talking to this person. They end up being a little bit nice. You're like, oh, okay. And then they say, what? They say, where are you from? You say Los Angeles, and they say, wow, me too. And then what do you feel in that moment? You feel immediate connection with this person just because of the fact that you're from the same place you are. Right. If you saw somebody in London or on Mars, if you saw somebody on Mars, right, and somebody came up to you in a spacesuit and they told you that they're from Earth, right? They're really from China, but they said they're from Earth, but you saw them on Mars, you would feel immediately connected because you're out here with all these extraterrestrial Martians, right? But you guys are from Earth, right? So you feel this immediate connection with this person. So my question is why can't we put that into perspective of the people that live in your geographical area? What are the chances that a human on Earth out of the 8 billion people live in the same geographical location as you and live during the same time frame as you? What are the chances? It's probably crazier than getting struck by lightning, bit by a shark 10 times, and all those crazy things people say they're the chances of. That's probably what the chances are that somebody lives in your area. So you should be immediately connected to every single person in your area and feel like they're family just because of the fact that they live in the same market as you. It's crazy how we get in our minds that these people are, you know, some kind of devil going to hate us, cuss us out, you know, come through the phone and punch us or something. When in fact, this is our brothers and sisters we're calling. You know what I mean? And you should think of yourself, Chuck, as a volunteer worker doing community outreach. Volunteer means free. A volunteer worker doing community outreach to help people. You know how many people are buying and selling property in Los Angeles every day that need a real estate agent?
A lot.
And you're just sitting around saying, I'm scared to call. You need to get out there and help these people. You're just sitting around like, I don't want to call because I'm scared of, I don't even know what, because if I ask you what you're scared of, you're going to say, I don't know. I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I don't know. And I'm going to say, well, how much sense does that make, Chuck? Right. So you need to get out of your own head and realize these people are your brothers and sisters that need your help. They're trying to buy and sell real estate and they need an agent.
Well, and with that said, you know, Chuck is no slouch, that's for sure. In fact, Chuck, tell everybody, what is your rev share group up to now?
1650.
That's
Nice.
1,650 people. And here's a guy with 1,650 people in his organization asking, how do we get over call reluctance? Not because Chuck necessarily has that. And from time to time, it creeps into all of our mindsets. That's for sure. Like, oh, that person, they'll never join EXP. They're happy where they're at. Oh, that person is at this production level. I'm down here. I can't influence them because I don't have the production. That's all bullshit. Get it out of your heads, guys. I mean, you've thought of somebody that you wanted to call that you had a relationship with, and you said they're never going to join EXP, so you didn't make the call. Am I right?
Yeah,
And then
and
3 months later, you learn, guess what? They joined EXP and it wasn't under you.
exactly. My point is I've sponsored, I think about 75 people personally, so I can do it, but it is something that even bothers me, even though I've done it quite a bit. So you're right. You just got to get over it and do it, you know?
That's exactly. And congratulations on your success, Chuck. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep building. No doubt about that. John Mendelson, let's make it super quick. Go ahead.
Yep, super fast. The same way that I tell my kids when somebody says something nasty about them, that other people's opinion of them is none of their damn business. It is absolutely the worst thing that you can possibly do is to make the assumption of somebody that you're trying to sell something to. It is not your role to decide whether or not they want what you have. It's your role to give them the opportunity. If you look at it like that, it's way easier to make calls. That's all I do all day is give people the opportunity. And if they say they'd like to see it, that's great. And if not, wonderful. It was nice chatting with you. Have a fantastic day. And that's it. So
next, just next. That's it. Way to go,
that's
John.
it.
Ricky, dude, I just have so much respect for you. I consider you a friend. I can't wait to get down to Alabama, spend a little bit of time with you. Let's make that happen real soon, okay? And thank you for just pouring into these people and sharing with us your strategies of social media influence and how to attract agents just into your funnel. Congratulations on all your success, Ricky. Keep going, my friend, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you guys soon.
That was great, Ricky. Thanks.